Hey everybody, Brian Montgomery here with TechMoneyTalks. I am really excited today because we have a very special guest on the podcast. We are fortunate to have Peter Prue as a special guest on the show. And for those of us in ecom, you should know who he is because Peter is the founder of Ecommerce Empire Builders and a Russel Brunson 2 Comma Club recipient, and his journey is just so inspiring. Peter went from struggling for 10 years in his online business to quickly creating multiple six-figure and seven-figure drop shipping and e-commerce businesses. If you don't know who he is, then you're missing out big time because Peter has helped thousands of people teaching his successful e-com methods and is becoming a major influencer in this space. Peter continues to raise the bar and has been keeping it real. He's been keeping it real the whole time. If you're interested in starting an online business to make extra money, you better save this episode in your back pocket and listen to it over and over again because the stories and the tips you're going to learn here will give you the opportunity to quickly launch your own business to help your wallet grow fat. Peter has been absolutely killing it in e-commerce and has an awesome presence on YouTube. In there, he actually lays out a free course to teach you how to reach $1,000 days in drop shipping. He's been featured on stage and many publications. Time is money, and everyone's looking to get a piece of his time, and I'm so happy to have him on the show today. Peter, thanks for joining us, man. How's it going?
Thank you for so much for having me. Talk about an intro, Brian. I'm gonna have to have you like follow me around.
Oh, yeah. Lead you, give you that lead in on stage.
Yes. But thank you so much for having me. I'm hoping I can share as much valuable information with everybody listening right now.
Oh, great stuff, man. Well, hey, you deserve it, man. You've been crushing it online, and there's so much to talk about, and I'm really glad to have you on the podcast. So I'd say to kick it off, for the audience, maybe introduce yourself and then share your journey into drop shipping and e-commerce.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like before we started recording here, I told you I'm like the 10-year overnight success story, because you see a lot of people see like a lot of the quick success, especially in e-commerce now because it's so booming and continuing to boom. But unfortunately for me, or fortunately, like I have failed a ridiculous amount of times. I've been in online marketing now 11, 12 years. Got my start kind of later now that you see a lot of the younger kids doing this, but I got my start in this whole space when I was in college. So while I was in college, I had a roommate, and I was going to school for like IT and stuff because I figured, I'll get a job. It was one of those fields where it's like, oh, there's a lot of opportunity in that. So I was, doing what I was told or thought was the right thing to do. But I had a roommate at the time. I remember, coming back from class one day, and he was like typing away all crazily, and I thought he was like writing a paper or doing some homework or something. He told me he was internet marketing. He started an internet marketing business, and I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" Like, it was a political science, which I'm like, "What are you even talking about? Like, this makes no sense." He's like, "Look, I'm building these blog websites, and I'm putting other people's products on them, and then I rank them on Google. So when somebody buys from me, like I make a little bit of a commission." And I'm like, okay, and I was like, it literally made no sense. But essentially, most of you guys listening to this, that's what affiliate marketing is. And back in those days, 10 years ago, affiliate marketing was ridiculously easier than it is now, because you could literally manipulate like Google search and get your blog or website to rank first more easily, like manipulating keywords and stuff like that. And you could easily be making a good amount of money. And that was my immersion into this world, was affiliate marketing. Paid for a ton of different coaches and stuff like that with my roommate back then. And I think, at our peak, we were doing like, $1,000 a week, which was like insane. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. I remember the first check I ever got from making money online. I didn't even have a bank account back then. Like, I didn't even have any of that. So I had to go to like my mom. I gave her my check, and she's like, "This is fake. This is not real." It was like for $300, and she cashes it in for me. It actually works. I'm like, holy crap. Like, this is insane. That was short-lived, though, as everybody knows. Like Google obviously got smarter, and those kind of strategies, they were very black hat to begin with, or gray hat. So which I never recommend people do anything like that, because anything black hat, gray hat, it's always short-lived. So graduated college, went and started working full time. And in the back of my mind, and I don't know, this has to be like most entrepreneurs have this, is like, most people, they start at a full-time job, like. And you always feel like this thing inside you, like, man, there has to be more to this. There has to be more than me coming here every single day. And like, I just hated it and I was doing like internships in school, and I hated it immediately. Like I just grew so bored of like, that same thing every single day, day in and day out, same conversations, and seeing everybody just like get older. And it was like so depressing to me. And I like realized that even back then I was like, man, like, is that going to be me? Like that guy in IT that's been here for 25 years and like he's still here, like, and like really nothing really changed for him. Like, and that, like, to me, and that's, I'm not knocking on anybody that works full time. Like, everybody has their own journey. Like a lot of people aren't cut out to be entrepreneurs because the amount of stress you have on a daily basis, especially if you have family and things like that. Like there's a lot of pressure and a lot of people couldn't handle that. But like, I knew for me, like I couldn't have that, like I didn't want to be in the same place in 25 years. Like it scared me. Right. It like scared me. So in the back of my mind, I was like, there has to be other ways to make money online that, there's more, that's more sustainable. Right. Yeah. And that's when I started learning about e-commerce. Specifically, this was the Wild West days of Amazon FBA, right? Like these are when Amazon FBA first started coming into existence. And if anybody here sells on Amazon FBA, like, that it's very strict right now. But back then, like you could get away with like anything on Amazon. You could rank keywords easily. Like there were no guidelines yet. Like nobody was teaching, how there's tons of different YouTube videos and courses and mentors now. Like back then, there was nobody teaching this stuff, right? I was like in one little small mastermind community of like other sellers. So put in like my life savings. I actually had to borrow some money from family. And I did a purchase order for some products that I sold on Amazon. It was like about $5,000 worth of inventory. And that's the one downside with that FBA is like you do need a good amount of money to source in those products. Source them in, built that business up over the next year or two, and it was consistently doing $50,000 to $80,000 a month, which was incredible to me. I mean, wow. I couldn't believe it. Like, honestly, I was like, I sometimes had to like pinch myself. I was like, wait, are we really about to do $80,000 a month? I was still working full time while I was doing this. And this again is another downside to Amazon is like your money is constantly wrapped up in inventory, where it's like the second you think you can pay yourself, you kind of have to like launch a new product, or you got to go put some more money into the purchase order so you don't run out of inventory. So I was still working full time, but I felt like I was getting close. I was like, okay, I'm getting there. I'm paying myself a little bit. But the next thing I knew, and it was Q4, I got a couple emails, and I was selling about 4 or 5 products at that time that my listings have been suppressed. And what that means in Amazon world, and this still happens to this day, is your competitors can go onto your listing, file that you're making some claim or claim that say they could say, hey, they're infringing on patents. And Amazon, they shoot first and they never ask questions. So we had a competitor of ours do that to our listings, completely false claims, and had our entire Amazon business was shut down in literally 10 minutes. Literally, it was one of the worst days of work ever because I was at work. I was just building in my Amazon business the whole time, and I was like, oh, it was terrible. But that moment taught me a lot. Like I did, I went into like a dark place at that point. I was blaming everybody but myself, blaming Amazon, blaming this, that, or the other. But it taught me a few things about business is like never like build your business on like somebody else's playground, right? Like Amazon's awesome as a sales channel, right? And those of you that are selling on Amazon right now, fantastic, keep it. But like start focusing on yourself because you never know what can happen. I have a lot of friends that, they were selling good products. And then next thing you know, Amazon Basics comes around and they start branding their own product. And guess who they're going to rank first on Amazon search? They're not going to put you up there anymore, right? You're never going to beat Amazon Basics or any of their own branded products. So keep that in the back of your mind. Another thing is a lot of your brand people that sell on Amazon, you don't actually have any loyal customers. They're loyal to Amazon. They're not loyal to you. They're going to buy from somebody on Amazon, whether it's you or somebody else. They're not loyal to you whatsoever. So keep that in the back of your mind too, as well as you not getting any real customer data. And I mean like the actual email addresses of your customers. And that is huge, right? If you're not building your email list like that, and a lot of people in e-commerce don't because they think it's like email marketing doesn't work, but that is your only asset in your business right now. Even for the past however many years now, like email is one of the only, your email of your customers, your prospects, it's something you could put on a USB and walk away with. Right? There's nothing else, like really nothing else in your business that you can put on a USB stick, travel around the world with it, plug it in, send an email and make money, right? Like your email list is huge. Yeah. So that's one thing, you don't get that. on Amazon, right? You don't get those emails. And there's a lot of like weird black hat ways that you can do it, where you can like reverse engineer and put them into these data mines and put the person's address and phone number and you can find their email. But like, again, like that is not what you should be focusing on, right? So after I lost that Amazon business, I don't even know, a year or two went by, probably like a year. And I was like, you know what, let's try this again, right? I was like, let's get back up and try this again. And that's when I kind of started learning about, obviously still e-commerce. I was always into very e-commerce. I always liked selling physical products to people. And I started learning about, WooCommerce, storefronts like Shopify and stuff like that. And this time I was like, I'm actually going to build a business that I care about, like something that I enjoy doing. And I think a lot of people in dropshipping, e-commerce are building businesses around stuff that they don't enjoy whatsoever. They don't really care about their customers. They don't really care about, like building a brand. They're just trying to get like some one-time sales. And I was like, this time I want to actually have fun with this business. So I started a fishing business, right? I started a fishing business because that's something I love to do to this day. I love fishing. It's something I used to do with my dad growing up. It's the way I remember him by. And
That's awesome.
and I was like, I'm going to start a business around this. And it was enjoyable, right? Like I would, I obviously was starting with like AliExpress and other drop shipping places. I actually found a drop shipper in my local area. He was only like 3 hours away from me. And I was able to actually negotiate a deal with him to drop ship products for me from his warehouse. So a lot of people think like drop shipping means AliExpress, but it's not. Drop shipping has been around forever and ever and ever. It is simply being a middleman between a supplier and a customer. Yeah. So like look in weird different places. Like it's not just AliExpress. So I started this business and I started just having fun with it. I started using my own products. I started like running my own social media accounts, taking pictures of my stuff. I had fun like sending emails to my customers. I had fun creating advertisements. It didn't feel like it was a chore. And like it was like a do or die sort of situation where I feel like a lot of people in dropshipping are. It's like a do or die situation. And like I promise you, like a lot of times, like the people that are the most desperate are usually the ones that never get the result that they want. And it's like sad, but it is true. I always find that to be the case. Like it's always the people that want the money the most are usually the ones that repel the money. Right. Because it's true. Right. Because you are thinking not in value. Right. And to me, I always give my customers more value than I take in payment. Right. Yeah. And if you come from a place of giving more than you're taking, then you'll never run out of money. But to give value, right, and actually like a good product to people, it takes work. And that's why you have to be obsessed with your customers, obsessed with your niches and whatever you're selling. And that's at least for me. That if whatever working for you, you're fantastic. It's just like from what I found, like I didn't find success until I started selling stuff that I enjoyed. So, I was selling on Shopify. And the thing is, like, I was making sales, like, and I was making money, but I still didn't make enough money to quit my job. And this is like where a lot of people are stuck right now. Is like they're making sales, but it's like, well, okay, how do I make more money? Oh, I guess I have to make more sales. Well, no, that's like so far from the truth, right? People think that they have to make more sales in order to make more money, and that is not true, right? What's actually happening is you're competing against a ton of other people that are probably selling the same exact niche as you, and you're all just driving your advertising costs up tremendously, and you're all just competing for one-time purchases, when instead what you need to be focusing on is monetizing the entire customer journey. So at this time, I was actually in a mastermind group, and I was still working full time. And there was a company that came to our mastermind to share some new software that they were releasing, and they were giving a demo of it in our mastermind group. And that company was ClickFunnels. And wow. Look, I had no idea what this software was. I was like, "What is this? Like, this looks so weird." Like, it was a whole new world to me. Like, it didn't even make any sense. But when I started seeing like people putting like the guys from there, and this was like 4 or 5 years ago now, they started like showing us how we can use this for e-commerce. And I don't even know these guys anymore. I don't even remember who they were. I wish I could. I remembered who they were because I would like totally thank them, but I don't even remember who it was. Right? It definitely wasn't Russell. I would have remembered if it was Russell.
Oh, really? Okay. I was imagining that.
Yeah, it wasn't Russell, but I think it was like one of their tech guys.
Okay.
On the team at that point, but like, when they showed me like how you can not only, sell your front end product, collect an email address right away, have all these other components inside of a funnel, which I'll talk about in a second, and then upselling your customers, like light bulbs started going off for me. It's like, okay, well, if all of my competitors are all, trying to sell a fishing lure for $10 and I'm trying to sell a fishing lure for $10, right? Like, our margins are just going to keep going lower and lower and lower as more competition comes in there. So I started thinking about, okay, well, how can we like start monetizing our current customers that we have to increase the average cart value, right? And that's where the funnel started coming in. And to me, they're like the three most important metrics in business is like not what most people think. Like obviously cost per purchase is important to me, right? Cost per purchase. The second one is average cart value, right? My average cart value is everything to me. As long as my average cart value is greater than my cost per purchase, like I'm happy. Even if they're equal, I'm happy. I don't care. I'll lose a little bit of money to get a customer because I know like I make more money in the back end sales, right? And then the third most important metric is the LTV, the lifetime value of the customer. And this is where like all the money is made, especially through your back end sales. So what I started doing was I started putting out these funnels. Now, a funnel is essentially a couple web pages, very simple. They're not complicated. There's no distractions in a funnel. If you have ways out of your funnel, then it's not a funnel. It's a storefront, right? And that's why Shopify stores typically average convert at 1.33%, and a funnel converts at over 10%. And that's order, right? That's 10 times more. It's because, and I'm not bashing any of the Shopify people here, no, by no means that are listening. There's a time and place, but if you're trying to drive traffic to a Shopify store and not telling your customer what to buy, when to buy it, how to buy it, then your conversions will be lower because, again, you're giving too many distractions, right? If there's any button whatsoever that pushes them away, they're going to find it and they're going to click it and they're going to browse around. They're going to get distracted with real life and then they're going to leave. And that's why you have those lower conversion rates, as opposed to a funnel where you just take that one offer, right? You take that one fishing lure. Maybe you bundle in some information products in there. I love bundling information products in with my products because it one, increase the value, right? Remember, like I said, like give more than you take in payment. Easy way to do that is add information products in, maybe some cheat sheet guides, maybe a video course on how to use the product to the best possible way, right? Putting that nice offer together, plugging it into the funnel. Now, a funnel, the first step they land on is called like an opt-in page. It's a landing page, and that's where you grab the email address of the customer. It doesn't have to be an email address. You can also grab like a messenger opt-in or both. But again, you only are highlighting that one offer, and you say, "Hey, are you interested or not?" Right? If you're interested, you got to give me an email address. I'm not going to just let you browse around here, right? I need a commitment. Right? Like that's part of and that's part of the thing. This is why the conversions are higher because if people are all silently begging to be led, right? They are, right? This is why like when you look at even like big stores, right? Like when you go, like, let's say if you go to a Best Buy to buy a TV, like they're constantly like, they're coming up to you. They want to guide you around the store and tell you what you need. They want to understand what you want, what your needs are, and fill those desires, right? With the proper product that's meant there for you, right? And it's like going to this one of my students came up with this, and it was so good. So I'm going to share it now. You know how I'm not sure, Brian, are you married or have like a girlfriend?
Yeah, I'm married. 2 boys.
So like on a Friday night when and every guy has ever been in this situation. Oh, what do you want to eat? And then you're like, I don't know. Every guy has gone through that, right?
Yeah.
And and it's like, oh, well, this place, and it's like a million places, right? But instead of saying that, pick the place and go at it. You have a better chance of victory at that point, right? People just usually just be told what to do, okay? And that's what we want to do with the front end funnel. And the front end funnel is only designed to, one, break even, right? At least break even, and also ascend customers up, right? And this is for cold traffic I'm talking about. This is why a funnel's, you need it for the front end, like for your first touch point for a customer has to be through the funnel. Because one, you're generating a lead, right? You're getting that email address on the opt-in page. That's a lead, right? That person may or may not buy from you right then and there, but guess what? Now they're on your email list. You can put them through your like an indoctrination series or something along those lines, where eventually, 2 weeks from now, a month from now, a year from now, who cares? They eventually become a customer for you, right? After they give you the email address, then they're presented with the opportunity to buy the offer that you showed them. Now, there's a bunch of cool hacks that you can put on an order
That's
form.
Great.
Yeah. On the order form, you can put in a bunch of hacks. I always tell people offer quantity break discounts, and not the way they do it in this with the Shopify apps, because that way, no, you have to show them, right? You can't just write at the bottom, oh, if you buy 4, you'll get this, and then you expect your customer to actually click your little dot up 4 times from 1. They're not going to do that, right? You have to like show them in their face, show them the quantities. I usually like to do 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. I auto select the 4 immediately, and then you could do like a highlight around it as well. You'll see, like, I don't care what you sell. Like I've had students that were selling $100 products. If you just show them that and show them the better deals that they're getting buying more than one, your conversion rates will drastically skyrocket. Like for fishing lures, right? It obviously makes more sense. They're going to want buy more than one. So obviously it's a case by case basis, but there hasn't been a product that I wouldn't ever recommend testing it on, right? 9 times out of 10, it'll work for you. So after you have quantity break discounts, you should essentially break even there, right? So what happens is, with the Shopify store, when they come there, let's say you're selling one fishing lure, there's going to be the people occasionally that, they're like, okay, I want to buy more than one. So they'll just click and they'll buy more than one. That industry average across comes out to like 1.3 units. If you look over 100 buyers, right? That means the average customer buys 1.3 units from you of your fishing lure, right? But with just this order form hack that I'm showing you, it should be 3.4. Depending on your product, it's totally dependent on your product, 100%. But if you're starting, again, I like to start with a low ticket thing to get customers in the door and then send them up to my higher, more priced products later on. So you should be selling at least 3.4 units. There's also a cool thing called order bumps that you could do, and think of that as like a pre-purchase upsell. And a pre-purchase upsell is sort of like being at a grocery store. It's like that, the candy aisle right there where you just like toss it in just at the last moment to buy it, right? So what's the most complimentary product that you can possibly offer to your customer without having to explain it more so within 2-3 sentences, right? Because we don't want to complicate it. We don't want to introduce a whole new product into this and unsell the offer, right? It has to be literally, if you're selling toothbrushes, this needs to be like the toothpaste, right? It has to be so obvious that they would be buying it anyway. Some ideas that you could do here is like a limited edition version of the product that you just sold. You could do warranties. You could do, expedited shipping. You could do like gift cards. You could do those kind of things in there. You could do information products in there as well. Yeah. So that's,
and like at that step is like automatic buy, which I love.
100%. That should convert at 20% at least. 20% for you. After they hit that order form, right? Again, there's no distractions here. There's no other products where they can click and go look at other things. It's like, it's a simple order form and that's it. Like there's not much going on these, right?
Yeah.
After they buy that, that's when you can go into your upsell sequence. Now you can have as many upsells as you want, right? And they're all one click. Right. And there is no money being taken from you every single month from these apps, from this app. I personally use ClickFunnels for sales funnels, but there's no, like, a lot of these apps will take a percentage of the money they make from your upsells. Don't do that. Like that's just, I hate that. Like taking the money from you from every upsell that they produce. Plus,
so one quick question: is there anything like an Oberlo, for ClickFunnels as far as the order fulfillment goes?
To automatically fulfill?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some apps that you could do. One is Orderlytics will work for you. There's another company, I don't want to say the name right now because I'm testing it this week with them. That is basically Oberlo for ClickFunnels that can manually fulfill your orders. You can also, if you have a Shopify store already, you could send those ClickFunnels orders to your Shopify store and then leverage all the apps that you normally use. You could send them to a Google Sheets. You can send them to Google Sheets, your orders, and have a VA fulfilling or bulk CSV to your. So I mean, there's the nice thing about ClickFunnels is the API is pretty open. So like, if you have like somebody on Upwork or whatever, can custom code anything you want for you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like as opposed to Shopify, like they're very strict. It's a publicly traded company, so they have to be. They're not going to give you like free range to do things with their post payment processing. They're not going to do that because that's how they get paid. Right. They're taking a portion of that money. So, but ClickFunnels is a little bit different, right? You need like a Stripe account or a payment gateway or payment processor to use it. So
awesome, man. Those are 3 really good tips there for sure. Hey,
that's like the most common question I get. It's like, there's so many ways you could do, and it's so different for every business. You could do like for example, with my supplement business, we're using ShipStation, right? So all the ClickFunnels orders, get sent to ShipStation, right? Like, and then our supplier is linked up to ShipStation, right? And there's ways, there's hundreds of ways. It just depends on what you want to do. Do you want to be cost effective, cheap? I mean, they're all pretty cheap, but for the most part, cheaper than them taking money from you on a monthly basis. But so kind of going back to the upsell sequence, because this is probably the most important part of this, is you can have as many upsells as you want. They're all one click. This is no extra paid fee for this one click opportunity. But I want you guys to know, like, upsells, you should always have post-purchase, right? You can have a pre-purchase upsell being your order bump, but I see a lot of people like, and again, Brian, you might use these. Some people listening here might use these, but like, I hate cart pages. Like I hate cart pages because cart pages lead so much buyer's remorse, right? So if you're using an upsell app right now, and I see a lot of people doing this because I see the comments on, our YouTube videos is like, oh, well, this app here has a, an upsell app. Well, can I just use that? And then I look at it and it's a pre-purchase upsell app, and you never want to use a pre-purchase upsell app. So what a pre-purchase upsell is, basically, let's say they on your Shopify store, you add this pre-purchase upsell app, they add to cart, and then when they say checkout, it upsells them right there. That is a terrible, terrible thing, right? Because they're going to be like, who wouldn't say yes? They're going to be like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. Yeah. Oh, and another upsell. Oh, sure, I'll take it. And then it sends them to the cart page. And then they see what the final price is of everything. And guess what they're going to do? They don't know you. They don't like you. They don't trust you, right? They just came from a Facebook ad. They're going to leave. And this is, again, another reason why you see these conversion rates be as low, because it's not that they wouldn't buy from you, right? You just sold it the wrong way to them, right? Yeah. They don't, again, if it's hot traffic, fine, that'll work, right? If it's your buyers already, that'll work, fine. But like, for people that have never heard from you before, they don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you. So you have to lead it in a little bit slowly and a little bit more subtly. Right. So that's why you always want to have the post-purchase upsell. So after they already gave you their information, they bought from you, that's when you can present them upsells. Okay. Up and one click, immediately buy. Now, that's what I love. Yeah, you got it. You have to do it that way. And like Zipify is one that you can use for this as well, on Shopify. But again, they do take a portion of your money, I believe, still. So, but it is what it is. I think they're the better one that's out there right now. So as for upselling, common things that you can upsell, obviously sell them more of the same thing. It just works. That's the first thing I would test. Even if you just gave them 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, sell them more of the same thing. Obviously complementary products, you can put in some complementary products in there. But remember, this is like a little bit deeper here that I think it might kind of go over people's heads, is like, if you, like, a lot of people will sell a complementary product, but not realize that that person just came to you and was sold on that product. They saw an ad, they engaged with the ad, they clicked the ad, they came over to the funnel, they gave you an email address, they looked at your offer, then they finally bought that product, right? That was a pretty big selling process. Maybe that all happened in 5 minutes, but guess what? They were very warmed up for that product. So when you introduce a complementary product, right, you basically have to restart that again, right? And you have to indoctrinate them a little bit better with the product. You can't just be like, oh, buy this. Right? You have to show them the credibility, show them the emotion, right? The logic of the product, and then ask them to buy, right? So don't just be like, oh, well, do you want this product? Yes, no. Like, it won't work like that. That's why I usually recommend people just sell more of the same thing, because they're already sold on that anyway, and everybody loves a good deal. So just sell them more of what they already just committed to already buying. Now, the most important upsell to have is your subscription, your continuity, your recurring revenue, subscription box, whatever you want to call it. Basically, whatever it is that you're going to send your customers on a monthly basis, that's going to get you paid, right? And this is why I don't care about competition, because I know most people aren't ever going to do this. But this is how you get free sales on a monthly basis, even if you had a bad month of sales. Basically, think of BarkBox, Dollar Shave Club, right? These companies, you give them $20 and they send you something that they would be buying anyway, right? Yeah. Like, getting those razors anyway, they just made it a little bit more convenient. So what's something that you can give your customers on a monthly basis? Are you selling, resistance bands? All right, fantastic, right? What's logical? What are they going to need with those resistance bands? Well, if I was selling resistance bands, I'd be selling information, members area, grocery lists every month. I would sell, fitness, like a fitness program in a members area, putting that in there, right? Which could lead into like supplements and that sorts of stuff, right? If you're selling like fishing lures, you could send them fishing lures in a box every single month, right? You can even work with your dropshipping supplier to maybe customize the packaging for you, to send them to your customers. A lot of people on AliExpress will do that, right? Believe it or not. Like, some of them have the capacity, if they're the actual manufacturer, to actually customize the packaging for you, and bundle other products that they have. That's awesome. But I would never start a business if I didn't have some sort of recurring revenue into it, because this is where like, and this, people think this is crazy, but like on a free plus shipping offer, like when you know your numbers so well, like on my like fishing business, like we could acquire customers at like $50 on a free plus shipping offer and still be profitable because we knew like the portion of people that did buy our continuity, like they would stay with us for 6 months. So we knew
That's
like,
huge.
hey, it was like arbitrage, right? And who can acquire a customer on a free plus shipping offer for $50, right? Like that's literally hard to do. But that's the thing. A lot of people are so focused on like, oh, I need my cost per purchase to be under $4. Otherwise I'm not profitable. I'm telling you, it's only going to get harder for you right now. For everybody to get somebody to give you a credit card for $4, that is so ridiculously cheap, right? That person just committed, gave you like their very personal information, right? Like, so you make sure, you guys are understanding, like you want to make sure that you're monetizing that properly and having your back end set up properly. And that usually for me, and what I recommend people do is having that subscription, right? That's going to be the savior. Like for me, the core of every business that I look at, work with, is I always say, hey, what's the core of your business, right? It's not selling that trinket or that piece of jewelry on the front end forever and ever. Right? Like what's the core of your business, right? And usually that has to be some sort of subscription, monthly continuity, or something along those lines, right? That's going to get you paid. Like for example, with my supplement business, like it's going to be getting people on auto ship, giving them a better deal and putting those people on auto ship, right? Like that, they're going to buy it anyway, right? Let's get them a better deal, get them into some sort of, VIP club where they get access to maybe a community as well, like a Facebook group, some information products bundled in there. And this is where the value starts coming in, right? You just want to make sure you're giving them, more value than you're taking in payment. And you'll see your churn rate will be really good. And you'll be able to really start seeing the magic of compound interest start happening, right? Like think about it. This month you get 10 people. Right? Okay, let's say 2 people drop off the next one, but then you get another 20 people and then 30 people and it starts stacking, right? And the compound interest starts happening and like literally you'll start seeing like, oh, guess what? On the 15th, I have 500 people rebilling for $39.99, right? Like that's where you get this is where I recommend people pay themselves, right? A lot of people pay themselves too early from their business. And they're paying themselves from money that actually belongs to the business and should be reinvested back into acquiring customers. Pay yourself from the continuity, right? Have a 50% margin at least on the subscription. If you're doing pure information, fantastic, right? You're going to even have more money, but pay yourself from that. Every upsell that you sell, every order form sale, order bump, just reinvest that into hiring people or advertising or launching new funnels or products or whatever you're doing, and just pay yourself from the subscription. And that to me is the winning formula if you're trying to like actually acquire customers profitably and actually pay yourself from your business.
Wow.
I know, man. I went on there for like 45 minutes.
Hey,
dude.
No, man, that's huge, man.
I'm like so passionate about this stuff. Like I've spun my wheels way too long in this game. Like I just don't know a better way than doing subscription. Like that to me is like, that's the game. And not enough people do it because and I know why a lot of people don't do it, especially the ones that are still doing the AliExpress dropshipping, is because you're scared, right? You're scared what your customers will email you about and stuff like that. Like that's the thing is like AliExpress it's awesome. It's step one though, right? It's only step one. Remember, like you want to build something long lasting, right? AliExpress is fantastic. It allows us to like test our ideas without, doing like an Amazon FBA where we have to invest 10 grand, right? Like I always recommend start with AliExpress, but like once you're starting to make like 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month, like, and you're still on AliExpress, like start, you can do a combination, right? Like you could still drop ship and test offers on AliExpress, but start branding your own stuff, bring them to the, wherever your fulfillment center is, right? But like build something that's a little long lasting, think more long-term. I don't think enough drop shipping people, right, think long-term enough. Like they're kind of in it for the quick buck, which it's there, but like, if you want to be around a year from now, like I want everybody to be around a year from now, but like, you have to do things differently that the other people aren't doing.
And it's amazing because I can see, and no worries. I mean, this is probably the least amount that I spoke on the podcast, but I did that intentionally because you were dropping huge value, from your journey all the way through this point. And like I said, for the audience, I mean, we'll draft up a visual of this, and you probably already have one, what you just described, but this funnel sequence that Peter described, this is like I said in the intro, this is the part for the audience that you want to re-listen to this over and over again because really awesome stuff. So I intentionally, held back from, breaking your rhythm because you gave a lot of great stuff there. But, one of the things that I did catch, which I thought this was awesome, and it's a good point for the audience, which is your journey. Like you said, you started and having that impact from the platform. So you have that capability to do that and have a larger customer lifetime value, that type of self-liquidating offer that Russel Brunson talks about, to going through the funnel sequence. And like you said, that the post-purchase upsell sequence, those are huge. After the customer's already agreed to, to opt in and buy that initial product, and now with just one click, they're just kind of like automatically purchasing the upsells. That feature is just so awesome. So everything you laid out is just like golden nuggets.
Times change, man. Like that's the thing, is like we live, like e-commerce is only getting bigger. It's only growing. There's ridiculous amounts of opportunity, but like we can't always be doing the same thing every single year, right? Like things change, are constantly changing, right?
Yeah.
Like markets are evolving. People are, markets will get more sophisticated, and you just have to change it. And I want to hit on this because some people might miss this, because it's easy to miss this. Is like, so somebody might be listening to this, okay, but like, okay, I'm gonna go upsell my customers on my Shopify store. Like, I'm telling you, like you're still gonna be stuck with the same problem, right? Because it's not about upselling your customers. There's like more deeper psychology that goes into why a funnel works, right?
Yeah.
But because there's a lot of micro commitments that happen, like, and again, we're not going to dive into like the human psychology of why it works, but when they hit that landing page, again, it's only one offer, right? When you compare it, let's say your Shopify store has an upsell app, but I'm using a funnel, right? Where I'm actually guiding somebody through the sales process, like as if they just came into my brick and mortar store, and I'm guiding them by the hand, telling them what they need.
Yeah.
Right. Because it doesn't, like, think about it. Nobody's going to see your app, your upsells, if they don't buy from you. And if you only have, let's say even some of you, I know some people are going to be like, oh, I have a 5% conversion on my Shopify store, right? Okay. Even if you have a 5% conversion on your Shopify store, that means roughly, let's say you get 5 people to come, will see your upsells, but I get 10 out of the same buyers, right? I'm going to get double still to see all the rest of my upsells, right? That's what the way I want you to think about it. Plus I collected email, I collected leads, and a lot of people aren't going to buy from you that impulse buy. Some of them will, but like a lot of people don't buy like immediately, right? Like, again, it comes back to, like, I forget who said it in like the marketing buzz, you need like 12 touch points, right? Before somebody finally trusts you enough and has enough information about your company to actually buy from it. And I heard that that number has like risen to like 20 touch points now, right? It's because again, there's a lot of noise in the market with advertising, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of noise out there. So you want to make sure that, that's how you cut through the noise, is like, you don't give your customers a million products, right? You can give them a million products to browse through, but get that first buy first, right? You can still have a Shopify store with your funnel, but you don't want to be sending people to that. Well, cold traffic, right? You could send them once they've, opted in, maybe they bought, maybe they didn't, then you can send them to a Shopify store, but at least you grab that lead already, right? That's the point, is you're trying to convert that cold traffic, make it profitable, and to send people up your value ladder, so to speak, right?
Yeah. And I like how you touched on, basically not being emotionally attached to one platform. So like what you described through here was using ClickFunnels, and I love ClickFunnels as well. But I like how you also said, so say for people that are early testing, you could still use, Shopify for some of that early testing to find out the products that you want to take further into funnel type sequence, which
100%. Really awesome. Like if anybody that we consult for, like, that's the first thing we do is like, okay, you already selling stuff? All right, perfect. All right. What's your like best selling product? 80-20 rule. Like 80% of your sales are going to come from 20% of your products, right? Like that's just the way it is. Right. And we'll take those the best products that they have, or the best product that they have, wrap a good offer around it. You figure out what's worked to sell that product in the past before, right? Add as much value to that offer to separate us. Because the reason we're adding more value into our offer and creating an offer, not just a product, is to decommoditize ourselves and not just be like, like everybody else's fishing lure, but also to just ridiculously increase the perceived value. So like, a lot of people are like, and you probably get this a lot. It's like, well, why would they buy from my store if they can just go to Amazon and buy it? Right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You got to answer that question in your favor, right? Like, because otherwise you're right. They're not going to buy from you, right? They're not going to buy from you if you don't give them a reason to buy from you. And that's where the offer comes in. Like, what else can you add in there? Information products, maybe some low ticket physical products, anything to increase the perceived value. The perceived value has to be so great that they feel like they're getting an amazing deal. And that's why they would buy from you over going to Amazon where they just only get that product.
Really good golden nugget there for sure, man. Oh man, this is great stuff, man. Yeah, I'd love just kind of letting you run with it for sure. And you know what I'm curious about? You actually got, spurring a bunch of questions, even like with some of the latest like tactics and utilizing ClickFunnels for this. So have you been using Messenger at all?
Yeah, we'll use Messenger. You can actually, there were some cool ninja things you could do in the past, so you could get people to opt into your Messenger and they didn't even know it. But like those days again are behind us.
Yeah.
Marketers ruin everything, but I would still go for the email address. Like if somebody's thinking about it, I would still go for the email address, but you can give them like an added bonus to be like, hey, opt into our Messenger. Like on the landing page, you can add the growth tool, like that checkbox growth tool. Mm-hmm. And be like, hey, opt into our Messenger and we'll send you like a free, phishing cheat sheet or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Just to get a reason to opt in. But again, the more variable, remember, funnels should be very simple because the more variables you give, the less your conversions will become. Right. Like that's just the nature of how a funnel works. Right. Like, literally just think of like an actual funnel. Right. It's like it starts big at the top. It starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Because I've seen funnel sequences like used with Messenger and I've done a couple already. And, right now, like the way I relate to it is like, the response rate of Messenger, like when sending a mess. And of course, the customer is opting in for it initially, but you're leading them down a path. But the response rate is huge. And the way that I view it, especially like, you said you've been around for a while, like, email the way it was like 20 years ago, everybody would read all of their emails. Now, fast forward to today, people are barely reading their emails, but, they'll still go through, they'll skim through them maybe. But, say Messenger, when they see that little bubble on their phone that somebody, sent them a direct message, the open rate of that is huge.
Yeah. The problem is with it, and I 100% like agree with you. But with Messenger, it's not yours.
Yeah,
right?
that's the
problem. So I recommend like don't just have a funnel that you can do it if you want to and have like two funnels and just split testing. One has an email opt-in, the other one. That's the nice thing about ClickFunnels. You can run a split test like that where 50% of your traffic, the people are asked to give the email, 50% are asked to only give the Messenger opt-in, or you can ask for both. But again, just look at your numbers before it. But the thing is, like, a lot of people say email marketing is dead, but it's not dead. Like the reason it's dead is because a lot of marketers, they don't email properly. And the reason email marketing is dead for those people is because the relationship they have with that list is dead. Right?
Exactly.
Like, think about it. When your mom emails you or your sister, you're going to open that?
Yes. Open those.
100%. Yeah. And the reason, again, this is why, like, I have a copywriter, full-time copywriter on my team. Like, when we do launches, like people know it, right? And we don't do any of this fake crap, like fake scarcity, fake urgency, like a lot of people do. Like our launches, like people are literally, the last time we did a launch, we had like 200 people sitting on our landing page waiting to buy when we were going to launch it, right? And immediately, like within an hour or two, we sold out, like immediately, right? That's when you have trust with your list. Like those are the kind of things that happen, but it's something you have to work towards. And email, everybody, it sucks. I know. Like, trust me, that's why I hired a copywriter. Like, I hate writing emails, right? You outsource. Do what you do best and outsource the rest. Like, you don't have to be doing everything in your business. But if you're just starting out, right, keep it real. Like, don't just start emailing your customers promotions. That's the fastest way to kill your list. Instead, email them like what you're doing in your business. Right? Like what I did, I remember when I first started, so this was actually another fishing business that I had. I asked myself, I've had like 3 or 4 fishing businesses. That's awesome. But so what I did is I asked my supplier, and this is what I did. It was my follow-up sequence after they opted in. I would send them pictures of like how the baits are made. And I emailed cool. So I don't know if you guys, I forget who it was. Schwartz. It was amazing at marketer. Man, what David Ogilvy? Maybe, I don't know. But
Mm.
basically, what they did is they went and started doing consulting for a beer company. I think it was like Schlitz or something, like old school, right? Like, and they did a marketing campaign where they showed how the beer was made, and the Schlitz people were like, "Well, everybody does it this way," but nobody's showing that, right?
Yeah.
So what I did, I was like, nobody's showing how baits are being made. So why don't I set this up where I'm going to message my supplier, even though they're overseas. I'm like, hey, can you send me some pictures of like, the factory, of the workers, of everybody like putting the baits together and like putting them into packaging. And I
That's
just
awesome.
created a little series of emails showing people, hey, look, check out, look how your baits are made and stuff like that. And then pushing in an offer, like creating a story, like look, let's say you go and you're in the fitness space and you're using your product, right? Like, let's say you had like a interesting situation happen today with your resistance bands, right? Like go and send an email about it, right? Like that's what people want to see. That be like, that's, you start humanizing yourself a little bit more because people want to buy from you because of you, right? Like they don't want to buy from a faceless corporation anymore. That's why I feel like sometimes, a lot of people, like, that's how you can be Amazon, right? You can be like real. You can be, a little bit more of like an attractive character, so to speak, right? To your customers. It doesn't have to be you. If you don't want to be the face for your company, you don't have to be. You can find somebody that you can partner with. And it's definitely not like a requirement. I don't want anybody to think so, but like that stuff, like right there, if you're willing to put your face out there for your company, like you're going to win, because most people aren't going to do that.
Yeah.
Right. And people, again, they can buy the same exact thing somewhere else from you. So give them a reason to buy, right? Usually people buy from you because they trust you. And a fast way to get trust is to put your face out there. That's one of the fastest ways.
No, I love that. Yeah, the humanizing experience. And just like you said, customers are getting numb to the faceless corporations and the typical advertisements that come through. So you don't want to follow that approach. Man, that's awesome. Really good tip for sure. Like you said, not being, tied to a platform. So like Messenger would be tied to Facebook's platform, and you would not own that. Or, if Facebook changed the rules, then you would lose that as opposed to an email. And
exactly.
So,
and
really
I think a healthy mixture of both is the way to go.
Yeah. And one of like the most recent things, I don't know if you follow Gary V at all, but I saw that he's now recently, requesting people to opt into like his text list. Because he was, mentioning about, getting burned by the platforms, and he's like, email and text is what he feels like he can have control.
Yeah, I
over.
agree. I mean, that's the thing is like, and that's what I mean. I don't want people to feel overwhelmed, but like you got to be omnipresent nowadays. Like it's tough. I know. Like a lot of people are like, oh, because then you're not doing anything to max effectiveness. Because you're like, oh, I'm trying to get Messenger bot, I'm trying to get emails, I'm trying to get texts, trying to get all these things, Like, it is, but this is just business. If you want this, like, that's what I'm saying. Like business isn't cut out for everybody, because there's a lot of stuff that happens. Even when you think you have everything figured out, like it's the next thing. It's like every day I think the same thing. I'm like, man, like, when is it going to relax? It's not, that doesn't exist. Right.
Yeah.
You never want to let off the gas.
Which is true. So, and like you said, I mean, what we kind of described in the beginning here is, how you could run your own e-commerce business. You don't necessarily have to be the authority figure putting your face in front of the dropshipping store. But it actually leads me to want to talk about, what led to you actually deciding to teach everything that you started doing and helping others in there.
Honestly, I was in this Facebook group when I was selling my my subscription box for fishing, and it was a bunch of other people that were selling subscription, and I was like, well, we're all like, so there's a little bit more that goes to the story, but basically I was trying to sell subscription for that business as a front end offer. Like I was running ads and telling people, hey, join this and you're going to get billed, $20 every single month. No, don't do that. Right. Very expensive, very hard to get people to commit. That's a big commitment. That's like basically what they pay for, like, I don't know, some really junk internet, but they, for Netflix, right? Like that's basically what they pay for Netflix. Yeah. So they don't necessarily trust you enough to be like, okay, well, they're going to bill me every single month. I don't even know them yet.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, like, how do we figure this out? And we were in there and I started, and this is like all kind of happening at the same time. That's when I figured out the funnels. I was like, okay, well, let me take some of the products from my store that we're selling and like, let me see if I can just change the way I sell things. right? Like I'm going to
Yeah.
still sell the same stuff, but I'm just going to change the way I sell it. So instead of just like hoping they come to my store, buy this one product, or come to my store and buy my subscription, let's like kind of like guide them through the journey of this. Right.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, okay, let's do like a deep discount funnel or a free plus shipping funnel or something like that. That's going to be like a low barrier to entry, because I don't want anybody to feel like they have like a ton on the line or a ton of pressure, especially when it's a new customer coming from a Facebook ad doesn't like me, doesn't trust me, doesn't know anything about me. It's a lot easier for them to say yes on a low ticket thing than just trying to go out there and ask them for, $15, $20 a month. Right.
Yeah.
Not saying you can't do that, but most people would be venture backed if that's the case, because they can delay gratification. So when I was trying to sell subscription on the front end, it costed us roughly $30 to acquire a customer, right? $30. And that doesn't even include product costs. We're probably losing like close to $50 because you have to do a promotion like, hey, get your first box for $5, something to put them over the edge, right?
Yeah.
Right. So we were like, okay, if we're acquiring customers at $50, we can delay gratification. If our average customer stays with us for 6 months, after month 6, we'll start being profitable on that customer. And I'm like, crap, that sucks.
Yeah.
Right. Like that really sucks. But guess what? For venture backed people, that doesn't suck, because you have, millions of dollars in the bank. So guess what? When a company like BarkBox or Dollar Shave Club, they can go full force on that kind of strategy because they don't care about making money. Right. And a lot of companies are like this that are venture backed. They don't care about making money today. They care about making money years from now. That's a powerful strategy too, and you're venture backed, right? I have nothing against people that are venture backed. Power to them. They can take those huge risks early on and just dominate markets like you see companies do, right? You can't really do that though when you're, me or you, or, we're just trying to launch our own e-commerce business to quit our job, right? Like, that's not possible. And that's the struggle I was facing at that time, is like, well, like I can't compete against them. They've got millions of dollars. Like how am I supposed to compete against their ad dollars versus my ad dollars, right? It doesn't make sense. We're in two different ball games. So that's why I was like, okay, well, look at this funnel. Let's see, let's send people up to it, right? We're still going to sell the subscription. And this is the magic of this all, right? This is the magic of this all. We are acquiring customers for roughly $50 selling subscription on the front end, right? Mm-hmm. In the funnel, we were breaking even on our order form and then getting monthly subscribers for free. Literally. So that is the magic of it. Like we were getting them for free at that point in our upsells. That's where we had the subscription put in. So everybody that got our subscription, we had those people for free. So we were profitable right away on that subscription instead of waiting 5-6 months. That's the magic of it. So back to your question, how I started teaching this is I started just asking people for advice on this inside the group I was in, and nobody knew what I was talking about, right? Like anything like that. They were more worried about like what crinkle paper to put into their subscription box. Like that's the kind of stuff they were thinking about, which is fine. It's nice to have a good customer experience when they open the box, but so I started sharing strategies. I put so people started asking me about it, and I was like, it's easier if I just shoot a video. And if you guys go back, like literally go back to my oldest YouTube video, and you'll see like it is awful. I'm like, oh hey guys, so to set up this subscription, like this is what you do. This is, and it wasn't even like there was no intro, there was no outro. It was just me. Like I just didn't know where to host the video, and then I would just post that into the group, and then they would just be, it was just basically me putting tutorials together to help inside that group, because it was a small group to begin with. And then, one thing led to another. I was like, I kind of enjoy making these videos, and, it kind of just took off from there. It's grown, the training side of our business has we've worked with people that who are on Shark Tank, and even like the British version of it too.
Wow.
We've worked with big, some big clients, obviously not only just big clients, but we've also worked with people just getting started in business. I mean, a lot of people that we work with are struggling Shopify sellers, Amazon FBA sellers. And it's been really rewarding, honestly. About and seeing people like, firstly, it's amazing to see people make their first dollar online, but it's even more amazing to see like progress that they make in their business and how quickly it can happen for them. So we have our training business. We have, a couple of people that I've hired to help me there, because it's like my time is just limited. I'm launching, a lot of my focus right now is on our supplement brand that we're launching, which is, I have very high aspirations for that business. So a lot of my focus is being put towards that. So, but like I said, it just kind of, I stumbled into it. I hate to say that, but I kind of did. And I was like, let's just make YouTube videos and help people. And I just did that. Right. I
Yeah.
didn't, I wasn't, making crazy claims or, selling, some weird fake dream to people. I was just genuinely showing people what I was doing, and I
Yeah.
recorded it.
Yeah, no, that's
That's it.
good. Yeah, and I could see I had your YouTube up and sorting by the oldest, and
It's
yeah, you were
embarrassing.
talking about Shopify versus ClickFunnels back then, so that's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
I mean, it's crazy. I'm like, I forget who said, I think Russell actually said this. And I was like, because I remember I was at a conference like in Denver a few months ago. And I was like, this was always in my head. I'm like, man, these videos, they are so embarrassing. Right. I'm like, I'm like in my like room, like with a hoodie on. I don't even care what I look like. Like, it's just like, whatever. I was just like, whatever, just putting content out there to help. Right.
Yeah.
And he used to like never delete your old content, like never ever delete your old content. Like one day you're gonna look back out, like people will look back on that and be like, oh yeah, he was human back then. Like, because
Yeah.
it's like it's so insane. Like when I look at it, like how like I'm such an introvert, but look even like I feel the way I talk now when I go to conferences, talk to people, like it's helped me in that aspect of my life. Like I've never would like this doing a podcast like this 2 years ago, I would have never said yes to you. I would have never done it. I would have been like, this is just way too much pressure. But now it's like I'm doing it so much every single day, talking to people, going to conferences, hosting conferences. Like, it's helped me tremendously with like the whole public speaking side of this, and actually, obviously helping people too.
Yeah, no, and everybody has to go through it. Well said for sure, man. This is great stuff. And even to touch on that, so is this what led into like the e-commerce empire builders? And is that what we're able to enter into the 2 Comma Club with
Yeah. So our
ClickFunnels?
2 Comma Club is for my e-commerce business. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Okay.
it's not for, I don't have a 2 Comma Club for our, for e-commerce empire builders yet.
Okay.
But soon, very soon, very soon. But yeah,
Well, hey,
so our
that's
2 Comma Club
awesome.
is for our e-commerce business. So, a lot of people do that. And that's why I always recommend people like, I'm not going to go into this things. You could talk about this for a while, but just make sure whoever you're learning from, just make sure they've done it. That's all I say.
Yeah.
Cause there's a lot of noise. Russell wrote this book, Expert Secrets. It's made everybody an expert, but just be careful. I hate I hate saying that, but they go into your account when you get a 2 Comma Club award. You have to shoot looms. You have to, there's a lot of processes that you have to verify your sales, right?
Mhm.
It's not like they're just giving you this plaque. And that's why I just encourage people, like just learn from people who done it. Like just do your due diligence and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I just feel like, there's a lot of noise in there right now. And, it's nice to
Yeah.
look at like the Lamborghini and traveling all over the world and stuff, but like understand like this shit takes a lot of work, right? Like it's,
Yeah.
you're not going to reap the rewards next month. And if anybody promises you that, then like honestly, use your logic, use your common sense. Like I can't, if you're falling for that, like you have to like think about it and be like, okay, does this actually make sense? Is this common sense? Like, you know what I mean?
That was awesome. So like I was assuming that okay, maybe it was your course where you made it into the 2 Comma Club, but it's really awesome to hear that no, it's through your e-commerce dropshipping
Mhm.
business, doing it with this funnel sequence that you described that brought you into that 2 Comma Club, and
Exactly.
that's huge, man. So that's really
And that's
great
why I
stuff.
was like, even when because I got that award, I mean, we hit way, over 2 million, in that business. So, it happened a while ago. But that's why I felt like, it's like, that's why I even started the YouTube channel. Cause I, in my eyes, like, I didn't want to just be that person that's just like talking based on theory, right? Like I
Hmm.
wanted to at least be able to back up what I say,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know like, and now even be able to back up with our students. Like we have our own award system, our 10K per month club, 50K per month club, right? Like when we have students hitting all of those, like, I just, it's one thing, it works for you, but you have to make sure that it works for other people.
Yeah. Do you have any like student success stories that you'd like to share
Oh
with
my
the audience?
gosh, I'm not even like trying to pat myself on the back, but there's a lot. Like there's a tremendous amount. We've got we're gonna have 2 students that walk in the stage for a 2 Comma Club award this year, which is insane.
Wow. Wow.
We have wait, I think it's in my Instagram thing. I don't even manage this thing, my Instagram anymore, but I think we have like 12 or 13 people that do 50K a month and like 22 people doing 10K a month in their business. So,
Oh yeah, I did catch that. Yeah, that's
it's
awesome, man.
it's incredible. It's insane, right? Like, and
Yeah.
it's really humbling. Like, there's nothing better. Like, I've heard, there was, I think Tony Robbins said it. He's like, there's, growth through, the only way to grow at a certain point is through contribution. And it is really true.
Mm-hmm.
Like how else do you kind of like, like being like, it's so fulfilling. Like when you help somebody else do something, whether they paid you for help or you did it for free.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're going and doing a volunteer job at like a soup kitchen or something, right? You feel good after that, right? It's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Just with business.
Wow, man, this is awesome. And yeah, and I was just looking at the time here, so I want to be respectful of your time as well. And but I feel like we could be talking for hours on the stuff, which is really awesome. But actually, it reminds me, is it cool to have you back on the podcast? Maybe sometime next year.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I love to. This was a very fast hour. Actually, over an hour now.
I know.
It went by really fast.
I think it went by really fast, but I mean, it's the topic and stuff that we enjoy, and that's when you got something good here, which is so great. But I want to give people a chance to be able to follow you. So, what's the best way that they can get in touch with you?
You can go to, probably easiest is search YouTube, Ecommerce Empire Builders. You'll find my YouTube channel there. You can also go to ecommerceempirebuilders.com, or you could type in peterprue.com. It'll take you to the same exact place.
And yeah, we'll be sure to leave the links in the show notes as well. And I would say, Peter, man, he's the real deal. And, like you said, going through, being recognized through ClickFunnels is awesome. That's a credibility stamp that I'm pretty sure they do the due diligence to make sure that people aren't faking it there. Really awesome what you described, looking to deliver value, more value than what you're asking back. And it's a great model. And man, it's just really awesome to see this level of success and contribution in e-commerce to help other people out. This is awesome.
Thanks for having me on, man. I really do appreciate it. I really hope I could have shed some light on some kind of unique ways that we're kind of running our e-commerce business. Because I know that a lot of people might listen to this and be like, this is completely foreign, right? I've never heard of this before. But
yeah, some of the stuff we talked on was kind of like advanced, but I think it'll be good. And there's a good number of people, and I know there's a good number of people in the audience that are also on the advanced topics. So people will grow to this point. They're going to appreciate it for sure.
Absolutely.
But as we come to a wrap, I want to give you a chance to leave some closing remarks with the audience. So I'll let you take it away.
Yeah. I mean, as far as e-commerce, obviously use a funnel for all your cold traffic. Just do it. Have some sort of subscription so you're getting paid on a monthly basis. As far as business and life is concerned, like for me and a lot of people, right? Like, and I hate saying this, but like fail forward and stuff like that. But it's so true. Like I'm telling you, like if I decided that one day after I lost my Amazon business that I was just going to go back to my everyday, life, like I would have never been here right now. I wouldn't be talking to you right now. Right. Like, So just understand that like failure does happen. It sucks to push through it. I know you can go listen to these motivational videos and you feel good for 5 minutes after and you'll be like, oh yeah, let's fail forward. But like what you really have to do is like just, trust yourself, trust the process, trust like the pain and the failures that you're going through right now, that it's all weeding out the people that don't want it. Like that's the way I look at it. Like think about it. Like if it was easy, everybody would do it. There's nothing truer than that statement. Right? Like because all the people that get to the point that you might be at right now, maybe you failed and then they gave up. They called it a scam. They called it a fake, right? They called all these things. They made excuses instead of looking at themselves and taking responsibility, right? And taking your own responsibility. No millionaire, no billionaire, right? It doesn't think that way, right? So make sure that you are taking responsibility, and every issue that comes up in your business is your fault, whether it's a failure or a success, and expect that those things are going to happen. And trust me, it's even worse once you do get to a 7-figure, 8-figure level, because then you have people on your payroll to help. And then you have other people that are relying on you, right? You just kind of level up, right? But there's never going to be a time that, you're just, everything's easy, right? Just not going to happen. But the benefits that you're going to be able to, reap are amazing. Being able to travel wherever you want, be able to run your business from wherever you want. Those are all fantastic things. But to understand that, to get to that point, you have to put in a lot of work. You have to go through a lot of failures, and you're going to be tested how bad you want this over and over again. You're going to question your own sanity. And if you push through it, you'll find success. It's literally I found that it's literally impossible to not eventually find success if you just keep going. Like it might not be this year, it might not be next year, it might not be the win year after that, but eventually you're going to hit something, right? You're going to, the pieces are going to start falling together. You're going to start finding the right pieces. For me, look how long it took, right? I didn't literally find success probably for my first 6 years of being in online businesses, right? Like it takes time. Everybody's on their own path, and everybody wants easy, fast, get rich quick, but it doesn't work that way, right? Some people, fine, they might be able to knock it out the park their first month, but you don't know who they are, right? You don't know their past experiences. You don't know anything about them, right? So just don't compare yourself to other people either, right? Like don't be blinded by other people's success and then thinking that you're not enough, right? Like what you're doing is not enough. Like I said, everybody's on their own path, and I can talk about this stuff forever, but because it's I see people get so upset. They're like, oh my gosh, with social media, you understand, you're only looking at the best of a person's life there, right? Don't compare yourself to them, right? Because it's gonna slow you up, right? Turn off your phone, get to work.
Yeah, for sure. No, very well said, and a great point to touch on. And and I was just remembering, and I was actually curious about touching on the untapped focus product that you have, because I'm always looking to optimize my level of focus just so that I can keep crushing it. But maybe that'll be a good reason to have you back on the podcast, and we can talk.
Absolutely. I could talk about that stuff forever. But the best way to get focus is to make progress. There's literally nothing, everyone, it says take action, like Gary V, right? Truthfully, honestly, there's nothing that's going to give you momentum than action. Right. And once you start seeing things start moving together, pieces start falling together, nothing creates, focus and you're going to want to wake up in the morning and work on your business,
Great stuff, man. Hey, Peter, you dropped some real great value today. Really appreciate having you on the show, brother. Take care, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Tech Money Talks. Endorsed by Player FM, you help make Tech Money Talks the #1 dropshipping podcast on the planet. You help the show go mainstream because Tech Money Talks podcast is now officially sponsored by Spotify. If you're ever in Chicago, join our Dropship Chicago meetup group held at 1871 to meet with me personally and other professional dropshippers. We do meetings weekly. I'm now producing new, valuable content on YouTube weekly. Go check it out and subscribe. Tech Money Talks is teaching you all about money-making opportunities that technology can bring. We're just getting started. There's more great things to come. Stay plugged in. Throw me a shout out, and remember, you're just one product away.